Hello, YouTube. This is Insane Monster, and this is the beginning part of What If Deku was the son of Scar and Lapis Lazuli. This one just came up into my head because I thought it'd be interesting when I made something on my Discord called Merge Powers, throwing together ideas of merging different powers and abilities together. So I found this combination I thought of very interesting. Of course, there will be some setup work and also something to help balance out the stories between the heroes and the villains side. So I do hope you will enjoy. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Also remember to hit that notification bell set to all to make sure that you are properly updated for whenever a new vid is available. And lastly, I also recommend you do subscribe due to the fact that many of you aren't actually subscribed. So please support the channel and Happy New Year's, unless you're watching this afterwards. So, yeah, either way, have a good time. Hit it. Now then, before we get to the My Hero universe, we have to start in the universe where Steven Universe lives. Over the years, gems have decided to do many things, some of them good, some of them bad. And it's even become a custom for some gems who weren't originally tasked with combat in the gem society originally become somewhat fighters against the more, let's say, problematic gems who decided to cause havoc where they went. As you may imagine, and from the title, Lapis Lazuli actually formed a team before to help out with this. During a mission they were on to help re-secure some technology that they were working on, well, that Homeworld was working on at a safe distance from any planet, which was actually a space-tying warp gate. Essentially, its purpose was to connect two individual places differently, as well as being operable by living organisms instead of gems. Although, that being said, over the years, a few gems have actually given birth to other hybrids. Using Steven as a basis, their upbringing was much easier. So, yeah. So, back to the story at hand, we have where Lapis Lazuli and her team are fighting off against a group of evil gems who took over a unique science facility that's stationed in a space station safe from anything around in case something went wrong. The leader of this group is actually a gem called Amber. Amber is essentially a gemstone created by fossilized tree sap. Still considered basically a gemstone, but to make a long story short, they took over this because they did not want organisms in order to be able to use technology to hop from world to world. Essentially, it would be their version of the warp pads. So yeah, as on Lapis's team, we have an amethyst soldier who summons a bow staff, a tiger eye who summons claw gauntlets, and a moonstone, who summons chakrams. Chakram is basically a circular bladed weapon. Literally, it's in the shape of a circle. As for Amber's group, they actually have three other gems besides her as well. Blue agate, howlet, howlite, and black onyx. As uh, Amber, as a gem power, has the ability to create and produce amber substance that makes up her arms, using it in various ways similar to a lapis lazuli's hydrokinesis. And bear in mind, each lapis lazuli has hydrokinesis. And over the years, our lapis has learned how to summon her actual gem weapon, since those wings aren't her gem weapon, since every lapis can make those. So, as the fight continues, an accident happens, causing the machine to go haywire. This in turn sucks both groups in. As they go through an odd section of space time, they stay together in each of their individual groups. So, due to this incident, it also breached a gateway that drew in two individuals from two other universes. One of them was actually Scar, who just got sucked into it. Another one was somebody from another anime. I'll leave it uh I'll leave it at this point of the what if, but once they land, they find themselves in the, let's say, a good bit early on, like before Izuku would canon be born, in My Hero, as the two men who landed with the gems interact with them. The gems explained what happened. At least the good ones do. And the bad ones try to explain to the human that they ended up with. Things got a little heated, to the point where he caused himself to bleed to transform, creating a armored giant. If you have figured it out, this is, sorry if I butchered this guy's name. I don't even like him, to be honest, so I'm not really that sorry about it. But I'll just say it's the armored Titan guy from Attack on Titan. Yep, this guy got sucked into this mess. As time went on, Scar got close to Lapis, and the armored Titan got close to Amber. The reason why I'm calling him that is that, well, you'll see. As time progressed, as you would expect, each of them got pregnant at around the same time. Synchronicity, as the proper term is. So, yeah, once each of them were born, as a way of naming his son in the land they find themselves now, he named him Izuku. As for the other one, the son of Amber became known as Balor. I believe I said that name right, Balor? Yes. So, yeah, effectively the fathers were looking after one another. As the baby that Amber birthed had a bad habit of producing amber everywhere. So, yeah, as time progressed, let's say about a few weeks, the gems as well as the armor titan got in connection with All for One. finding interest in these gems as well as his abilities. He brought them in, telling them about how they got there and such, using some quirk to check the guy's memory, seeing that this is true, also taking quite the interest in Balor. As they check, given the physiology of him and his father, it's shown that he actually has inherited the Titan shifting ability, most likely due to the fact that half of his physiology is energy based. It has stabilized the Titan factor, unlike in his father, the ability not does cause him to regenerate at insane levels, but it also is simultaneously killing him. So we also see that afterwards they use some security cameras that they hacked into to find the gems. Of course, Blue Agate was furious that they were here and asked all for one if they could help take care of this. He wanted to test out what these gems could do and if they could be a threat in the future. So he sent some Nomus. However, Howlite asked him to wait on sending them, as he placed a little necklace on each of them, each with a little cluster of amber on it. Amber, the normal gemstone kind of thing. While another one that was capable of flight was to remain in the background recording everything for future use. As they were sent out, Scar was walking around with Izuku, as he does have a good bit of money in this one. Using alchemy, he is able to more or less make literal gold out of stone, especially without the restrictions of, you know, other all kinds of laws that would prohibit this, like in his old world. So he built up quite an amount of funds. As he's walking around with Izuku and the gems, they're attacked in a secluded place by the Nomus. Nomus are able to overwhelm the gems, as there are one or two of them capable of regeneration. As they were poofed, their gems were quickly collected as Scar uses his right hand, if I'm not mistaken, is the correct hand that his gem, that his alchemy of destruction is based in. So yeah, he uses that and pretty much destroys the Nomu one at a time, finding out real quickly that some of these are actually really hard to kill. Getting annoyed by this, he goes straight for the head on the harder to kill ones, which, as you may guess, destroys the brain completely. Afterwards, he gathered up the gems. As he saw a Nomu flying with a camera around its neck, it flies away, portals open to regather all of the Nomu that were killed, bailed out of there as soon as possible. Remembering what happened during the fight, the gems say, they said that there was a piece of amber around their neck, marking that it was her. She sent these monsters after us. And unfortunately, he couldn't fly to kill that Nomu that caught a glimpse of his face. Luckily, Izuku's was completely covered. So he knew that he was going to be a target now. And if they found him, they'd find Izuku. He had to make a choice. A really hard choice. So he crafted a metal box. Made sure that there was writing on it to state that this is for Izuku, his son, as well as a transmutation circle on it. Using alchemy, he sealed it up nice and tight. And putting his son down, drawing transmutation circle right in front of an orphanage. He had to make a choice. He takes a deep breath, knowing that if he stays with his son, he'll be tracked down. In this kind of world, if they find me, I might have some kind of quirk that could read my mind or my memories. They could find the Zuko. Can't let that happen. But I can at least give him something. As basket Izuku is in is on top of the metal box that Scar made for him. In it contained each of the gems that worked alongside his mother, the amethyst, tiger's eye, and moonstone. Also within it, two different notebooks. Each of them decided that before Zuko was born, that they would each write a notebook explaining what he could be capable of, what he is, and how he can get stronger. So, yeah, they made this just in case they weren't around if something happened to them. Lapis, because he would disappear upon his birth, and Scar, just in case. Afterwards, he uses the transmutation circle he drew around his son, entering into a white void. He sees a man with no descriptible features. That's body shape is similar to his own. He stares him down as the entity states, "So, never expected to see you here. What, what do I owe the pleasure?" As it smirked widely, without eyes, nose, or anything else, just a mouth. Bar states, "I want you to take my entire being. I want you to take it and use it to open my son's gate without him sacrificing anything." The entity looked at him, smirking. "Are you sure about this?" He states, "Yes. But given the state of things, if I stick around, he'll be fine. Even if I stay away from him, if I'm captured, they'll find him. Who knows what will happen to him? He needs to be kept safe at all costs, even if it keeps me away from him." He smirks, stating, "Very well. If you're so interested in going this way, I won't stop you." As Scar just disappeared. Afterwards, while he's standing there in the void, his son is drawn in through the gate, where he it's the last time Scar sees his son. Though he looks at himself and realizes his tattoos are gone. He asked, "What is this?" looking at the entity. He states, "Well, your tattoos aren't actually a part of your body. Though they were placed in it, they weren't necessarily a part of it by normal standards, you see. Don't worry, they're somewhere safe." the child's body is half energy based. I find that quite interesting. As it smirks, stating, "Don't worry, you'll learn about it after a while. His body gives a lot of leeway after all." Scar, worried about this, just sighs, marking, "Oh, you're trying to get me to regret what I've done. I don't. I've done many things in the past I am not proud of. I've taken many lives, and all in the name of a false justice. Wasn't even fighting the right enemy, or it was too late. But I can at least do this, give up my own life, my son, be strong enough to withstand enemies that may come after him." As he smirked, the entity states, "You've grown quite a lot, haven't you?" Scar smiles as we see Izuku getting picked up by the people at the orphanage and seeing the box that's labeled that it's for him. Though they can jingle it around and can tell that there's something in it, they can't really open it. It's completely sealed, but it's supposed to be kept with Izuku. As they think it's the child's name, they take it in. After, let's say, about another week, let's say the Midoriyas come in. Asasi and Inga Midoriya. They're looking to adopt a child before having one of their own, since they're quite nervous about it. As you may expect, they adopted little Izuku, also giving the box that was with him when they found him. They were confused by it, but took it with them anyways. As for Balor, he was raised alongside Shigaraki, due to the fact that over time his father died. His Titan power did continuously regenerate his wounds and such, but it, oh, like I said, it was also killing him. So eventually he did die, as Balor was being trained by the League of Villains All for One, in combination with training alongside Shigaraki. The gems that were there that sided with his mother also trained him. They decided to follow All for One due to the fact that they have a sense of serving the strong. If they're strong enough, then they don't mind serving them if it helps with any of their goals. They haven't found any trace of the gems or any trace of the man that was recorded to be with them. So they just gave up the search, thinking that they took out the gems as well as wound the man enough where he died. Though without any concrete proof, this is hard to believe. But no trace of the man. Mentioned, there is literally so much of no trace that it's like he never existed. And it's not like they could tell if the gems were dead without, having the gem fragments. Even then, gem fragments can be faked, similar to how Pink Diamond faked her own shattering. So yeah, there's that. As for Izuku, we'll focus more on him right now. As he grew up, every now and then he would have bad dreams. Though he was a quiet child at nature, but whenever he would have bad dreams, there was a reaction with some of the piping and such, with the faucets and everything in their apartment building shooting out water. This was around when Izuku was 3. When they went to the quirk doctor, and this is a different doctor than in canon, it's shown that Izuku might seems to have a form of hydrokinesis. Though they are confused about the gem on his back, that perhaps it's a type of mutation from his quirk, though they're not sure, as it's shown that Izuku can control water in all forms, whether it be plain water, steam, or even ice. This is impressive, as after getting the report, they send the Midoriyas away with the new information about what he can do. As we continue on to 4th grade, well, age 4, actually, sorry, uh, trying to keep all the facts straight between both sides. But in whenever Zuko became 4, something else happened. Markings appeared on both of his arms. Parents thought that this might be something to do with their quirk, but weren't sure. As Izuku ran over to the box that had his name on it, Midoriya's didn't really hide it from him since they didn't really know of anything about it. Didn't seem like it was hurting anything, so they had no reason to hide it. When Izuku grabbed it, he recognized that some of the markings on the symbol on the box resembled the ones on his arms now. As he placed it down, he put his fingers on the symbol. As he was thinking, and instinctively he activated his alchemy, opening the box. When Izuku and Asashi saw this, they were obviously surprised. Opened it to find 3 gemstones and 2 notebooks. After taking out the gemstones, they levitated upward and formed the bodies of Amethyst, Moonstone, and Tiger's Eye. Freaking out, trying to get their bearings, they noticed little Izuku, as they recognized that white hair, red eyes, and dark skin tone, as well as the little blue flakes in his hair. They were excited to see Izuku again, but the Midoriyas yelled at them, asking who are they and what are they doing with their son. Obviously, Izuku was put somewhere in the other room, as the gems and the Midoriyas had a little talk. After explaining everything, especially what Izuku was, but leaving out the part about being from his parents being from another dimensions. So they couldn't really hide the whole gemstone alien thing. This did confuse them, though kind of made kind of cleared up the whole thing with the gem in his back, as they were did that they were thinking about removing it. As the gem stated, no, 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 do not do that. This confused them, as asking why. What purpose does it serve? They state, well, our bodies right now, you see, are just constructs of light energy, given solid mass. Izuku's body is half energy based. That energy is supplied by the gem. Removing it could actually kill him. This causes the Midoriyas to be shocked, as they were relieved that they didn't go through with it. They were thinking about it, but thought that that thing might have served a purpose. Thankfully, they didn't do anything to the gem. As they continued talking, they were discussing about how the gems were going to be sticking around, considering they weren't just going to leave Izuku alone. Though unaware about what happened to Scar, we see Izuku flipping through the notebooks, learning about who his mom and dad were. His dad, an alchemist, who was of a race known as the Isvalans. His mother, an alien race known as gems, where her particular type of gem was endowed with the power of hydrokinesis, being able to do all kinds of things, and were originally tasked with terraforming worlds, though giving more information about hybrids and such, finding that hybrids of powerful gems like diamonds had more trouble accessing their power due to the fact that diamonds have superior amount of power than other gems. This causes it to be much harder for their powers to develop and control due to the vast amount of power they produce. Though with other gems, this isn't much of a problem. He learns about alchemy and the different things that could be done with them. As he flips through the book, there's also found some bank information. Turns out Scar made some arrangements. When Izuku was able to open the box, the vast amount of money he had saved up from making literal gold and exchanging it, he had quite the sum in the bank and left it to his son with a card, bank statements, as well as the written agreement of the bank that would give Izuku complete control of this inheritance. He puts the bank stuff away back into the box and seals it, finding it much easier to use this alchemy stuff now that he knows what it is, though he doesn't understand how he already knows how to use it so easily. He's always been a very smart child, so that's somewhat partially due to being introduced through the gate a couple of weeks after birth. As for Balor, he was controlling his powers over the obsidian. Controlling the powers over the amber he produced out of his body, finding all kinds of ways to use it, especially for ranged attacks, as well as encasing opponents, finding it very useful, as well as practicing with his Titan shifting. So yeah, his training's going very well for him. As for their gem abilities, I'll put a link. Well, I shall list their gem abilities in the description down below. Of course, they will have added abilities since apparently hybrids gain new abilities that their gem parent didn't have when they were around. As a result to the incoming three members of their family, as well as recently afterwards finding out that Inka was pregnant, they had to move and ended up moving near Dagobah Beach. Since the gems don't need sleep or they don't need to eat either, they weren't really that hard to accommodate for some things. Occasionally they did sleep, finding it enjoyable. Yeah, for them sleeping is just something for fun. As they began training, as the years went by, both Izuku and Balor were able to summon their gem weapons. Izuku summoned a katana that did not have a guard. The guard is the thing on the katana that is right above the handle to keep swords from sliding down too far. As for Balor, he creates a one-sided, two-handed battle axe. As for anything else, he finds that Izuku has multiple abilities in regards to water, one of which is healing himself using water surrounding his body. To the extent this can go, he's not really sure. He obviously hasn't tried injuring himself to do so and find out. As for anything else, he learned how to fuse, as well as how to summon his water wings. That, due to the thing about being a hybrid, have somewhat evolved, become more defined, and look like angel wings made out of water. He also finds himself able to be resistant to high levels of water pressure, and even able to breathe water. As for his superhuman abilities, they are pretty much all boosted, but by far his strongest superhuman feature is his speed, especially his high speed level swimming. Occasionally, if he gets emotional, he might accidentally freeze a place. This is something that can happen with some gems gaining elemental abilities. As for anything else, he learns a couple of tricks, one of which is storing items in his gem, which is something some gems can learn, similar to Pearl from Steven Universe Canon and even Paradox. And before you say it, yes, he has. See, he can use that trick. There are others, but we'll save that for the description. As for Balor, he finds himself with heat resistance, some fire abilities, mastering his Titan form, which is also armored like his father, as well as fusion and some other thing. He is quite powerful himself. As for the gems that are with the League of Villains, Owlet and Black Onyx have their gems on each of their palms. Like, Owlet has her gem on her right palm with Black Onyx on her left palm. They actually go incognito in public and swipe some valuable, small but very valuable items using their gem storage ability, not being caught by anybody. So yeah, as for Izuku, like social wise, at around 10, while he was swimming in Dagobah's beach water, due to the fact that the gems couldn't stand the fact that Dagobah Beach was this way, they cleaned it up, also readjusting their forms to help cover up their gems. With Amethyst's gem on the back of her neck, Tiger's Eye's gem on her chest, and Moonstone's gem basically in the belt buckle region. So yeah, Izuku is swimming underwater, having a good time, practicing his water control as just kind of chilling in the underwater, considering he can breathe it. And honestly, not the craziest thing a gem hybrid has done. So yeah, though he hears somebody crying up on the surface of the water. He's a bit out as he swims up he finds a girl with pink hair and skin and horns, crying. Comes up to her boat and asks what's wrong. She flinches for a moment and asks, "Who are you?" He introduces himself as Izuku Midoriya, as she introduces herself as Mina Asido. He asks why is he crying. She replies with, "I'm so far out and I can't get back." He looks over at the shore, which is pretty far, where we see what appears to be her parents freaking out. As he states, "Well, it doesn't seem that scary. I go out this far all the time." With her stating, "What? How?" Izuku states, "It's easy when you can breathe water, as well as control it." He leans over, asking Izuku if he could help her get back to shore. He smirks, stating, "Alright," as he jumps out of the water with his water wings and lands, controls the water, and pushes the little floaty raft over to the shore, where Mina is hugged by her parents, as well as they scold her for what she did. Going out there alone was extremely reckless. Thanking Izuku, they end up meeting Izuku's parents, who live like right next to the beach. After some talking and such, they get friendly, as Izuku and Mina end up growing up with one another, even getting to the point of asking the other out. Though Bakugo messes with Izuku every now and then about him and Mina, which causes him to blush, and due to his half-gem nature, his blush is actually blue, which Mina can't help but find adorable poking his cheeks. As he has trained quite well, he knows the clap transmutation as well as how to use his arm's right ability to destroy and his left arm's ability to recreate, or at least reform substances into a different shape. Being quite proficient in this, as well as mastering his hydrokinesis quite well. So things do go quite well, as back in the hideout of the League of Villains, Shigaraki and Balor just gonna hang out in the bar setting with Kurogiri. That, well, Balor somewhat sees Shigaraki as an older brother figure, and Shigaraki's somewhat mellowed out by this. But he still hates heroes with a very large passion, like bloodthirsty passion, like in canon. So yeah, that's still that. As we now end this part of the What If. Next part will be part 1. Do hope you enjoyed part 0. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to hit that notification bell, and we'll see you guys later. Happy New Year's!